This is yours truly, Selector Free, and we're here live on the Loud Lounge. And today, I'm going to introduce to you not just a DJ, but a good friend of mine, Papa Lenny. Welcome to the Loud Lounge. So, Lenny, we're not going to get into no long talking. We're just going to get in straight into this.
Let's go.
So, how did Papa Lenny start getting into music?
Well, I mean, growing up in Bermuda, reggae is one of the primary music genres that's played around. So it started from young. I mean, from, I would say 10 or 11, really getting into the music, you know, Bob Marley obviously was your first kind of intake through the parents listening to it, and then just branching out from there. A lot of the older guys around school, around town, obviously hearing what they were playing, just really intrigued me. So I really started to appreciate the music a lot. Then started to hit up Dub City. I don't know if anyone remembers where it was above
the hub,
up the steps there. Or was it Court and Reed?
Yes.
Yeah. So up there, started getting records. You know, a few records, one a record a weekend, building up a little arsenal. You know, and then it just evolved from there. Just always being into it, being in love with it. The first sound that I started with a couple other brethren of mine in the young days, probably 14, 15, was called Dub Fire. And then from there, it evolved into another sound. I went away to university and decided to take the Bermuda culture and the sound system culture right there to Canada. And so it evolved into what name should we give the sound to represent Bermuda? So we called ourselves Black Seal after the rum. And we challenged, just actually similar to what's going on with OGS on October. We challenged the reigning Caribbean DJ that had been doing shows there before I even came to a clash. And he accepted. So it was born from there. Just, obviously back then we didn't have much money for dub plates, so, we were cutting Pepe's studio up Camp Hill, Don Cornelius, I don't know if you remember him, and some of the other older cats like Splinter Demas. And then actually we I think we cut into I think we linked through Johnny Osborne for that particular clash. But anyway.
Now, speaking on this clash.
Yeah.
This is the key part. Did you win that clash?
We did. We did. Yeah, we did.
You win that clash?
We actually took people by surprise. They weren't expecting it, obviously. Yeah. So you had the staunch supporters of that particular sound or DJ at the time, and we were new. And so it was a bit of a build-up to it. Walking around school, you had people saying, that's your boy from Black Seal, and you had a big Caribbean community there too that Bermudians fit into. But we kind of turned the tables on it, and from there it just took on its own life. So Papa Lenny was born from in that Black Seal element, right? So we had a couple of other guys on it. Some of them have passed away now, but yeah.
Okay. Now speaking on that, we can honestly say you're like a veteran in the game. Let's talk about the transitions, how you went from traditional turntable,
right,
breaking needles when you done a pull up too fast. Then you grew into the CD culture, and now moving into what we call the real platform. Serato, how did you make up with those transitions, understanding? Because a lot of times people will say you're a dinosaur, but you've progressed as the technology changed. So let's talk about that.
I must admit, it does give you a perspective on just how mixing and some of the techniques or even some of the challenges really to go through that trend. Some of those who are starting out now never really would have had any of those experiences, let alone having record to CD to laptop. I mean, so it was a change. I mean, you come from, I liked the feel of the record, so I could stop it, hold it, mix it, to go into, you're dealing with buttons now on CD, so it was kind of hard to make that transition. And also too, you found at that point where it was really taking over, there wasn't a lot of that, I would say, wicked old school reggae music on CD, because it hadn't really transitioned over there yet. So how did you really were stuck, because if they didn't have turntables to play on and the club had switched to CDs. So what I started doing was, it was a friend of mine, he was a whiz on the computer, and he managed to rig up this set where he would plug in from his computer into or out of the record player. He wired it all up
and recorded it.
And record. So I spent months every weekend just burning record to CD. So when I was going to DJ, I was like, how do you have all this music? I'm like, yeah, well, this is record to disc.
It's
interesting.
that we're having this conversation. So a guy that really put me on with the old school was Old Star.
Okay.
Parvy.
Right.
So a lot of my old school is really the earth and flavors.
Right. Okay.
Generation
Okay.
of it.
Okay.
And then I've also got a shout out to Mark P from my team. Awesome.
Yeah.
We got the old school like that.
Right.
Now, speaking how you've gone from the different generations, how you talked about how you came out in college and you won your first clash.
Right.
What has been your biggest party to date?
To date?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Here in Bermuda or anywhere?
Anywhere.
You know what? I would say that there's been the parties out there, I mean, you're getting my memory now, but there would be at least, I would say, 300 to 400 people at those sets. But remember now, when I came back, I continued DJing at Doc's Otter.
Yes.
And that was for years, you know. And
that's where I first saw you.
Right.
So I knew the name.
So those were packed on a regular basis, right? And you can fit 300 in that back room. So, you know, as far as on a regular basis, I would say just in that era, in that genre, I don't think I've never done any live, like big concert style where there's been thousands in an arena, but more of the club scene, I would say. So yeah, so for that perspective, as a repeat, I mean, you used to have lineups around the Front Street for that. Also, I used to DJ up at, I'm dating it now, it was called Ram's Head, but it became something else after that. It was a club.
You're going before me, kid.
No, yeah.
You're going before me.
Well, either way, up that way, used to do stuff up there.
I'll be feeling by your cut.
Yeah.
So, as they would say, I'll call you a veteran.
Right.
Where do you see the state of dancehall culture, reggae culture,
Right.
now, and where would you like to see it go in the future?
I mean, to me now, it definitely has changed. It's evolved just like any other music, right? So you've seen it really move, in my opinion, away from that true reggae kind of drum beat to a more of a R&B kind of, well, now it's Afrobeat kind of, you know, rappy style, right? You know, I still, you know, am fully stuck in sort of that old school style, but as a DJ and as a sound man, I don't, you know, I do appreciate the new artists coming up, you know, like I really like Skang. You know, when he first came out, I thought his voice, his style was different. Yeah, I really liked him.
Yeah, a lot of people consider him the new era of dancehall. It's considered trap dancehall.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
So, you know, I mean, again, I like some of it I don't, but that's like with any music, right? But I think I'll always, you know, have a spot or have a space in my heart for reggae. That will never die. So it's about appreciating it, giving it a chance. You know, I'm not one to say, oh, well, you know, that's not right to do it that way because, you know, this is how it should be because, you know, you get to sound like your parents, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What's that? That's
You
not
understand
music.
the evolution of reggae.
Right. And it's got to evolve for it to keep alive, right?
So what we would say, you're fair to say, you're a classic style DJ with a modern twist.
I like it. There you go.
You know,
yeah,
you
man.
fold back
Yeah.
a traditionalist with your rhythms, but you understand how it's got to evolve with time.
Yeah, I mean, you even see it now. You see a lot of so we started to get, even in the 90s and through 2000s, and even today, mixed in with the Afro. I mean, it's all Studio One real underlying rhythms that they've just tweaked in a different light, right? So you still got that classic element there, but now it's harder to hear because it's mixed in, you know, and you've got a different, you know, lyricist or a different delivery of it. You know, some of it can be really punchy and sort of hardcore, you know, which isn't for everybody, but you know, hey, it's reggae.
Now, speaking on that, as a sound man and a DJ, who were some of your favorite artists?
Wow.
That you appreciate and love?
Wow. So, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, Tennessee was one I always grew up listening to, Nitty Gritty. I like Horace Andy. I like Buju, obviously. And there's I mean, from Israel Vibration, Steel Pulse is another one.
Foundation.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of Linville Thompson is a huge I'm a huge fan of his, and he did a lot of work too with building rhythms that a lot of these guys would sing on in that era. Yellow Man was a huge favorite of mine. I used to have every album of his. I just found his lyrics were
So
crazy.
I would say, I can honestly say you're versatile.
Yeah, I mean,
With your artist branches that you've told me, you love the dancehall as well as classic.
yeah, because that's what I grew up on, was a classic, and then it evolved 90s and 2000s. So you started getting your Sprague Band started to step out on the scene, Terra Fabulous, all those guys.
Now,
The
you
Pantelis
spoke
crew.
of a lot of older artists.
Right.
Who would you say would be a modern artist, like, say, a Christopher Martin, Romain Virgo?
Right.
You
Yeah, I mean, I like Romain. I like the singers, but again, I gotta give props to Skeng. I really like Skeng. I mean, I liked his delivery when he came out. I mean, I really like the way. Joshy's good, and I like him as well, but they're two different styles, right?
Yes,
but
yes.
I mean, to resort back to one of the artists I didn't mention, I really was Roundhead. Really like Roundhead. Yeah, I think his wicked. Yeah, his whole voice
Yeah,
is
Monster
awesome.
Shock type guy.
Yeah. Boom Dynamite, all those guys.
Where do we see Papa Lenny in the next 5 years as a DJ as well as your brand?
Well, hopefully, it does draw people into it, you know what I mean? And gets people reinvigorated to get back into sort of supporting Soundclash, coming out to these events, giving it a new perspective for certain people who really don't understand it or haven't understood it, who may be afraid to come out, and it's got sort of a bad boy image to it. Yeah. But really, any event does, right?
Yes.
It just it's been stigmatized like that because it is reggae, but yeah.
We would say the speech for that is bring your queen and not your machine.
Yeah.
Machine. And we also got a shout out to the Bermuda deck
Of course, yeah.
for putting these opportunities, and as we would say, doing it for the culture, but also preserving the culture.
And he's not afraid to go out there and try it.
And
you know
take
what I
a
mean?
risk,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. He's got a feel for it. He's done a lot of shows. I mean, I've known Declan for a while. He's always had a good head for putting them on. He's got the links. He's got the contacts. So
It's got the business sense as well.
So I appreciated this clash that's coming up. I mean, he didn't have to take it on when it's relatively a new person that no one really knows outside of
It's taking the risk.
He's taking the
risk.
risk. But I won't disappoint him.
But everybody takes a risk.
Yeah, you got to.
So we're going to do something a little different. Who's Papa Lenny outside of music?
Wow, that's a secret.
That's a secret. Okay. So you're telling me
I got to keep the elusive image,
yes.
right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not saying nothing unless your lawyer's
Yes,
present.
Right, exactly. That's right.
So we'll touch.
Well, I can say I'm a family man. How about
family
that?
man?
Yeah, family
Okay,
man. Yeah,
okay.
So.
Is there any other interests? Are you into sports or anything like that?
Yeah, so I'm into golf. I unfortunately I've messed up my knee, so I'm not really playing soccer for a long time. But I still enjoy watching it.
Who's your team?
Chelsea.
By any chance?
Chelsea.
Okay.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Just want to let you know, in the Loud Lounge, we will never walk alone. So these conversations will not be as you particularly like.
Well, Arsenal's giving you a hard time.
Nah. We're not going to get into football.
All right.
We'll leave
So
that
we're
alone. But I'm going to shake you and say, I wish you all the best come October 22nd.
Appreciate it.
And on behalf of the Loud Lounge, I appreciate this interview and I wish you a prosperous career. Wish you all the best.
Appreciate it, man. See you soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.